This is one of those, like, I put off doing this video for a week videos. Yeah, it is like, so we're on a blitz right now. So I'm out in Illinois with the team. And so it's just like up at 7, go on a run, get breakfast out of the way. And then by 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's just calls and work all until like 11. There's some little off time, drive time. There's a little bit of downtime in between. It's not like all work. It's not like we're on the roof all day installing solar. But it's like all encompassing. It takes a lot of brain power. And so getting in front of a camera and posting a raw, unedited video when I don't have time to try to make it snazzy like all these other cool YouTubers out there, it's like the last thing I want to do. But I made a commitment to do this every flipping week, so I'm doing it. But the good news is like that we're so busy on like the behind the scenes stuff that when we start to like ramp up and show what we're doing, it's like it's going to look really good. But a couple things this last week that I'm just like learning and wanted to share. So, month to date update. So it's the 14th, so we're almost halfway through the month. And I think I need to check on like the actual volume numbers, but I think we've cleared $1 million in revenue this month already. We're at 29-30 sales. So, 31 actually, 31? Yeah, 31 sales. So we cleared $1 million revenue for sure. Which is great. I know there's some bigger companies out there. There's some smaller ones, whatever. But we've definitely cleared that mark, which is it's always nice to get. Like it's always nice. I think our number was like my goal for this month of like sales was 50, and so we're pacing to beat that number. So it's always nice in the middle of the month in sales when you're pacing to beat the number. And we still got a full week of a blitz out here, and then another week at the end of May. So I'm pretty sure we'll hit that, which is really great. But outside of that, just really good lessons this week. The first lesson is to be able to build things, you have to break things. And, it's break, like when things break, and especially in a company, you don't think it's good, but it's actually probably like really good. So our sales volume it doesn't look like it doubles, but it feels like it doubles, because with solar sales, at least I don't know how other sales are like really, but like there's a ramp up period where like when you onboard a new team, there's a lot of activity because there's a really steep learning curve. So they have to learn a lot. There's like a lot of phone calls. It's like really intense the first like 2 weeks while they get acclimated with the system, and they just figure out the system, and then once they figure it out, they get going. Right now, we're still in the acclimation phase where we have a lot of new salespeople coming on, and they're just learning how to juggle like just the paperwork, how to like process the solar deal is really complicated here in Illinois, period, for anybody. And so like when you throw 50 salespeople in at once, it like overloads the system, and like you figure out where it's not working, which is a really good thing actually, because then you can figure out like, well, at least for me it is. I feel like that's a good thing because I can take what's not working and then I can like lay it out and then rebuild it all together into something that works. And so like, for example, right, like before when you do a solar sale, it's kind of like a real estate deal, honestly, or a car sale. There's like a million forms and paperwork to fill out, right? And so as a sales rep, if you have to fill out the same information in 3 different places, it gets really tedious and it takes a long time. It takes like, even after a customer said yes, it takes like 45 minutes to an hour and a half just to get the paperwork done, which is like so tedious. Like yesterday, just like sat down, broke it all out. And so now we've taken that hour and a half long process, condensed it into 20 minutes. We're just going to build out in software this next week. And that's going to save it's going to cut down, a third of the time, which is great, which means a third less the headache and less duplication errors. That was a really heavy lift. But the only way we got there is because we started putting, we didn't say, hey, we're going to stop, build something, and then hope it works. We said, we're going to use what we have, and it's working. Oh, it's overloaded now. Okay, how do we, in the middle of making sure this thing works, how do we get the other thing to work with it, right? It's like you have to build under fire. And that's really hard to do because you got to work a lot more hours and coordinate and juggle a lot of balls. But like, I've noticed that when I do that, it gets a lot better effective systems because you don't know, like we can, like all the best plans fail. Like that's why you build and iterate while you're growing and working. And then that's how you find things that work versus just like building random features or whatever that just nobody's going to use. The other thing I'm learning is like, just do one thing really well. I remember, so I did ballroom when I was in high school, and I remember them teaching about the different teaching styles. You know, they like, so in America, when they teach ballroom dance, they teach like the steps. Like I didn't know the steps, how to do the samba or the rumba or the waltz, right? So you learn all these moves and steps, but in like Russian or like Eastern traditions in ballroom, they actually don't teach, they teach one step and like for like a year or two, like 1 to 2 steps. You're like, why would they do that? Because they're teaching they don't teach steps, they teach technique. And at first, like, it's really like, I guess American dance is more focused on social dance, and maybe it's changed. I'm not a dance expert, so don't like flame me on this one, but it's like a general, it's like what I experienced. In America, it's a more of a social dance, like it's a good dance to have fun. And the technique's not as important. So you learn like all the dances, but it looks really sloppy. Whereas like a more traditional style of learning and teaching is to learn one thing really, really, really good. And then from that foundation, you can build. And then when you build on top of that foundation, everything looks good. And I feel like that's where we're at, right? Like, as I've gotten older, you know, when I was young and like you want to learn everything and get everything really fast, that's like what I did. But as I've gotten older, that's the style I've preferred more now. And that's where we're at right now is like a lot of things are messy, like how to get a sale. We're getting better at that. But it's just not as clean as we'd like it. But if we do one thing really well, like that solves a lot of problems. And so like that one thing right now that we're doing is just getting product delivered quickly, getting a solar sale from sale to install really quick. I don't know what industry average is. It's probably 60 to 70 days, probably 67, 70 days for the industry average. Some markets are super quick. Some installers are really quick in some markets. Illinois, it's a highly regulated market, so it takes a while to get through those bureaucracies to get stuff installed. Our average is 36 days right now, which is really great. But we want that to be the standard. And so when we have a new salesperson or new sales team on board, like what we do is we get that job like goes on like red alert, white glove service. Like we're getting that installed super quick. So we had a new team on board 3 weeks ago, and they're getting they got the first sale like immediately. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna test us out and see if we're actually gonna install it quick. And so it was like all hands on deck, get this thing done quick. I think it's installed Monday or Tuesday, so 3 weeks, which is great, which is like 21 days. It'll be probably 23 days, I think, from when it was actually like site survey, ready to move. And so that's what we're focused on right now is just like, even if it's messy, just get the thing installed quick because that's how we all get paid and things get better. So I know this is kind of I hate just listening to people talk, and I know these videos are going to get better like in 3 months. They'll probably be boring for another 3 months because we're busy building a flipping business and it's growing. We have more salespeople that we can handle, which is a good thing. We're saying no to a lot of people, which is, it's good to be in that position, but we're excited to bring more operational volume so we can say yes and bring that up. Anyway, that's a wrap for this month or this week, and we'll talk to you later.